One of the best things about the Strategic Transportation Plan, and perhaps something unique, is that all of the communities, all of the cities participated in the planning. It's a local plan so that we could move forward into the next century. It benefits commuters, transit riders, pedestrians, bicyclists, everyone who wants to get from one place to another.
When we talk about multimodal and we talk about mobility, those projects that we're talking about in a comprehensive fashion will never happen. Will never happen unless there's cooperation.
Our vision for a 21st century transportation system is one that provides many options to its users. A multimodal system, one that's integrated and can use real-time traffic information, real-time data to adapt to changing conditions, to improve mobility, the mobility of people and goods, and also the safety of the users.
We need to look to the future and recognize that the automobile is not always going to be the answer, so we really have to work on making the traffic manageable and having alternatives.
Instead of just working on roadway projects, we're looking at cross-integration of various modes of travel, whether it be transit, freight movement, smart technologies that relieve traffic congestion. It's a broad-based plan that helps us look at things more holistically than we ever have before.
So anything that you do in a comprehensive way, like the Strategic Transportation Plan as an example, has a dramatic positive impact on the way you look at comprehensive mobility issues. Because mobility is not just you and I driving on a freeway. Mobility is goods, mobility is bikes, mobility is buses. That's all part of mobility. Mobility is a multimodal kind of opportunity.
One unique aspect of the STP is the three-tier model. And what I mean by a three-tiered model, it looks at three different levels of detail, all the way from macroscopic down to a microscopic level, so that educated decisions can be made based on the data that's fed into this analysis tool.
At the macro level, we've got a lot of regional projects that we're working on, like the I-710 corridor. There's many, they're all overlapping each other. Prior, we weren't thinking about how all of these projects integrated, what impact we were going to have on the transportation network at the conclusion of those projects. So with the STP, we're able to bring all of those projects together. We're able to analyze them in a manner that gives consideration to each other so that at their conclusion, we can have the safest and most efficient transportation system possible.
In the Strategic Transportation Plan that the Gateway has developed, they have focused on ITS, Intelligent Transportation Systems. This kind of approach helps the efficiency of travel, will prevent idling, will prevent unnecessary emissions along the routes that people choose when they know what is happening in the region and what route they should choose.
If we have a problem in the city of Southgate, we widen the street, but then we go into our neighboring area and they don't widen theirs, you're going to have a bottleneck at some point. So it's important that all cities are coordinating all their projects to avoid that kind of a problem.
It's likely that if you're on your way to work in the morning, be it through a car or a bike, that you are going to cross as a commuter more than one jurisdiction. As individuals, we're not making decisions based on how many jurisdictions we cross. We make decisions based on being able to get from point A to point B in a safe and efficient manner.
I'm glad we're having this discussion about active transportation because it has to be an alternative transportation option. It's very exciting to see the gateway cities moving towards this direction.
Some of our cities are considered disadvantaged communities, and Eco-Rapid Transit is basically bringing different opportunities to our communities and a source of transportation, which we don't have at this point. So the STP has shown us a lot of different ways of helping disadvantaged communities.
So the connectivity part is huge, to be able to connect to the rest of the systems in LA County. That's what the system is about.
We're looking at not just expanding our transit system, our rail system, but also determining what's the best way for people to get to those stations. The first and last mile. How are you going to get to the train? How are you going to come home from the train? That, in the end, is critical to the success of the system.
One of the very, very important things that the Strategic Transportation Plan helps us with is goods movement.
Freight's the economy in motion.
Over 40% of this country's importing takes place at the two largest ports, the Port of LA and the Port of Long Beach. And the growth, though, brings in problems.
We have to have an efficient way to move out of Long Beach and San Pedro across the country, if you will, and it all starts here.
It's very important for us to balance the needs of our residents, but at the same time, understanding that we are going to have to move freight efficiently, effectively to support our regional and national economy. There's a commitment from both ports and the City of Long Beach and the gateway cities to have zero emissions freight movement.
What we will see here in the gateway area is significant reductions in some of the most damaging pollutants. We expect to see a 30% reduction in PM 2.5. We expect to see an 80% reduction in diesel particulate matter, and diesel particulate matter is the pollutant that comes from the heavy-duty trucks. And we expect to see a significant reduction in greenhouse gas emissions. All of this will mean improvements to the public health of those people that live along this corridor.
We need to start thinking about the strategy for moving this plan forward.
Ensure that the folks in state and federal government understand how important it is.
And letting them know that in the Gateway region, we're a step ahead.
Understand that it's a good plan.
We're ready to move forward with our projects.
The challenge is starting now. We have the plan. We have identified $25 billion worth of infrastructure and planning that we need to do to bring this region up to par.
It is important that we capitalize on what we've created.
And I need your help to do that.
We've done an awful lot of work. That's to be congratulated, but we're not finished.
So this document needs to be in every city's offices and be used, if not daily, weekly, monthly, especially when capital improvements being programmed.
A reason we should all care is because this improves the economic vitality of Southern California and also the quality of life of people who live here.
I'm looking forward to the day where we can simply get on a bus or a bicycle, connect to another mode of transportation, perhaps light rail, and go from my house to a local mall, to another community, and move around the county of Los Angeles in a more efficient manner, starting with the gateway cities.
We had an opportunity to provide input. We had an opportunity to discuss the challenges. And because of that, we had an opportunity to develop solutions that are truly regional, that truly consider the gateway region and truly consider our neighbors.
The collaboration between the cities makes us strong, and it makes us effective, and it makes this region work better. We're so fortunate to have that kind of relationship between all the folks up and down the corridor.
I'm excited to be part of this STP plan with the rest of my colleagues in the gateway cities. We know from our experience that if you have a plan and a consensus,
Means success. We will be successful.